Hello and welcome to the Hoop Troop Podcast. I am Matt O'Connor, and join me, as they will on all of our shows, are my cousin Luke Drobner.
What's up, guys?
My brother Mike O'Connor. And
What's
our
happening?
new producer, Mark Pump. If you listen to our last episode, that has obviously received critical acclaim. That is largely due to the implementation of Mark's new tactics as our producer. So, guys, it's a new year. Any resolutions or anything like that? What do we got? Anything new?
Just before we start talking about actual basketball, I want to mention that I did beat Mark in fantasy basketball this week.
That's true.
And I think if we're on air last week, if you go back and listen to the recording, you can hear me say, easy win. It was an easy win.
Was it close? Also, because I've got a lot of questions.
It was very close. You were winning the whole time, and then I want to say like the last day, I took the lead by like 30 points and won.
Well,
yeah.
I think I'm just like fundamentally confused about how fantasy basketball works, because like should I be adding and dropping dudes? Like, because I'll have like gaps in my lineup. Like, not every one on my team is playing every single day. And
you want to play as many minutes as possible.
Right.
I mean, Mark, don't you have Obi Toppin?
Sure do. Yeah, I'm saving
that
him for a
like
rainy
that
day.
spot. You could definitely drop him.
But he's gonna come back, and he's gonna,
he's gonna sit behind MVP Julius Randle, absolutely balling out.
I mean, we can talk about how Julius Randle, in your eyes, because your Twitter activity is so oppressively active, like because you have multiple accounts to follow the Knicks on. You guys have really turned on Randle. Yeah.
No,
is he good now?
Mean, not to dive right into basketball, but Knicks have played 6 games and they're 3-3. They have just as many wins as the Nets. We're New York's team. But
it is shocking.
I would say we just look tough. My favorite thing, though, maybe more than basketball, is watching the Knicks next to Matthew. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Alfred Payton gives me heart palpitations. I want that guy. I don't even want him in the NBA, let alone on the Knicks. He is. I've never hated a player this much. We've watched the Jarrett Jacks of the world, the Emmanuel Moutier's, just Trey Burke, like these loser point guards for the past 10 years. And this guy is just the worst. All he does, he just plays for himself. They're empty-ass stats. He doesn't pass the ball. All he does is dribble. And if he does pass the ball, it's to Julius Randle, who I guess I can't be mad at this year. But after last season, my Lord. Like, I can't handle it. If they don't draft a point guard this year, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm getting Julius up right now talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, that reflects in the dishing and swishing like the tone of your Twitter account, which is really funny because it's like you being really sincere and like sincerely angry, or just like are you posting anywhere else about the Knicks, like on Reddit subreddits? It's just Twitter.
No, so I don't use Reddit. Honestly, I gotta be
really?
I'm a little intimidated by it. I use it for the streams, but that's about it. Every once in a while, a friend of mine will send me like fantasy football information from it, and that's about it. But no, I use Twitter and Twitter alone. We have a nice little Knicks community that I'm slowly infiltrating and polluting. It's good. It's weird. I definitely am a loser, but fine.
Well, like our friends from college, like we can't keep up. Like we can't make fun of every post because there's too much. Like, at a certain point, we've been so inundated with it all that it's you've almost won. But
well, there's diminishing returns, and that's the point. I gotta push through all the hate, and then there's you never know. I'll be working for ESPN in no time.
But it's one of these things where Matthew's got the dishing and swishing and the Kristaps poops is going, and they're all liking the same stuff, liking each other's things.
And you'll hop on the Hoop Troop one.
So like for a solid like how many scrolls? Like
I gotta be honest. I'm glad we
Matthew's
handed the Hoop Troop Twitter account to Mark because I was getting overwhelmed with 3 accounts. It was too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark, how's that going?
I was gonna go really alt-right on there and like start doing a lot of stuff.
You took a shot at somebody in the last post. I can't remember who it was.
I took a shot at the wrong Vans account. I just tagged some girl who had Vans.
I also think you tagged the wrong Vans account twice. You said at Vans, and then you said, "Oh, I did the wrong one," and you tagged the same wrong one again.
Wow.
She never responded, but
so fake Vans caught a couple strays. Yikes!
But I Yeah, she didn't respond. I think it is a woman.
She's missing out. She could have been on the podcast having a good time with us.
She's
whatever
she's
our
not.
open invite.
Our
Yeah.
steps are in
She's
our
gonna
weird
hop
Zoom
in
right now.
our amphitheater in the woods.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she just hopped on.
The together view is funny.
Well, she like must have been like an early user of Twitter, like before brands all got in there. Because the actual Vans, it's like at Vans like 68 or something. They had to add letters or numbers to the end.
I'm surprised they don't pay her for that handle.
They should, yeah. Because otherwise, how else?
Maybe she's off the grid now and they can't find her.
Yeah, totally. It's the Mrs. O'Connor's chandelier Twitter accounts being like.
Is anybody watching a game right now?
I'm not.
I should open
though
in the background,
I do have League Pass, and I'm holding it out from Mark. Mark wants.
Yeah, he's not giving me the login, like scumbag.
Yeah, no.
They told me they were going to give me the login, and they haven't given me the login.
The login. Well, actually, I don't know. You guys all have some
I don't
video
need the login,
and like you can be mean.
I'm going to use that to promote this episode.
Who sent that last one? Who sent the dancing video?
Michael
Was that
sent
Mike?
it. Michael went rogue.
Yeah.
For context, for those listening,
I
was dancing on New Year's, I think, to Beyonce, but
I feel like this is a pretty good segment or something to discuss. So I sent the Rogue video in at New Year's where Matthew is just drunk off his ass twerking in a pair of overalls, which have been newly acquired. Where's our overalls?
I don't know,
meter?
Matt. Were you wearing overalls in college? I feel like I wasn't that shocked.
No, this is new. I've been wanting to buy a pair, but haven't had the confidence.
Do you want to wear them sincerely? Like,
I want to.
Or was
wear
it a
them,
joke?
Well, there's functionality in them. You can fit like 7 beers in the pockets, so you really do. The utility alone is fantastic. But then, I think they're kind of good looking if you can do it right. I need to lose like 10 pounds and I'll look a little better.
Well, also, were you wearing like a waffle shirt or like a sweater underneath the overalls?
No, I think I was just wearing a white shirt. I don't know. I had serious chafing on my chest. Yeah, primarily in the nipular area, but no, I don't know.
Hey, get some Band-Aids.
I did.
You know?
Yeah, I ripped those off. I was drunk and didn't want Band-Aids.
We did apply bandages after.
Where were you guys and like what were you doing on New Year's?
We were at my girlfriend's house, just like mellow drinking for New Year's, but then I took it to a next level.
To a new
extreme. So that's fine. Sure. I christened the new year the right way.
Yeah, it's fine. Your hair has gotten so long. Like from the back, it looked really like you were like a 1970s.
Yeah,
I thought you were like Ali's sister or something like that.
I definitely need to cut it, but I don't know. For now, I don't have to like Skype in for work or anything like that, so no one sees me. So they still think I'm professional, even though I'm like this absolute gremlin. Good Lord, if they listen to this, I'm toast. But
there's no way.
Yeah, well, you never know.
Like the pod blows up it, man.
Boss.
Is he really?
No, God, no. No, he's like.
You should tell your boss we have this. Maybe he'll promote us.
To podcasts.
Hey, if he commutes to work, you could just be like, "You want something nice to listen to in the morning? Just hand him our podcast."
I know. And then there's gonna be me, just like, there's gonna be Mark posting videos of me dancing and whatever.
If our first bit at ESPN was do the 4 a.m. radio show, would you guys do it?
Sure. Yes. I would do. Think about the stuff you can say at 4 a.m. Who listens besides
also,
truckers?
The power of the radio in the 21 is immense. You know,
I would be like Philip Seymour Hoffman in Pirate Radio. I have the hair
Great
going.
reference, yeah.
That's a good movie.
I watched it a while ago. Kong Skull Island is on HBO Max. If you guys want to do a watch session.
Well, Mark,
I would rather die.
Mark, I'll be honest. Following the last podcast, I didn't watch the whole movie, but I did like a YouTube I Googled put it in the search bar Kong Skull Island best scenes.
Best scenes, sure.
And you get like a 5-minute montage of the best scenes, but they're mostly action.
I don't think the dialogue was going to make that cut.
And then I went a little bit deep. I went a little bit deep into what the critics were saying, just because I wanted to be prepared. Listen.
Can we tell me the real connection to this movie besides the fact that it's like the greatest movie of all time?
We just saw it in college when it came out in theaters, and I like defended it to our friends.
Pretty hard.
Pretty hard.
Like,
it's
more
fine. It's fine. Like compared
Mark.
to like Wonder Woman 1989 or whatever this one is. Like,
is that the one that just came out on HBO
yeah.
too?
Um,
Okay, I watched that. That one wasn't
it's
good.
like it's not any worse than the other garbage that's just kind of accepted as like as okay. Like,
Mark,
hey,
did you catch the Clooney movie? Did you watch
Midnight Sky?
Yes.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I have not seen that either.
I'll wait for some thoughts.
Was it good?
Did you like it?
It's worth your time.
Interesting.
1 to 10, what was it?
A 7. Maybe,
That's pretty good.
Okay.
like maybe like somewhere in the 6 to 7.
Walking it back a little. All right.
Well, you guys are scared me. Like you're one step above me. I'm in the amphitheater, so I'm just
Sure
intimidated.
Yeah, we're talking down to you.
Yeah,
I could check out Midnight Sky.
Ooh.
Well, it's because we're so starved for like new. Like that's why I watched 10 minutes of Wonder Woman, of the new one, and it does suck. But my standard for consuming anything is like just so low right now.
I know.
And that's why you got to wait for Kong Skull Island to hit HBO Max, and then
Oh no,
you're good to go for a whole year.
Tenet is out on Amazon Prime.
I just
you should watch that
bought it legally. Wink.
Nice.
You spent 20 big ones.
No,
hard.
Yeah. Well, it's another one where I'm just like, there's a lot of hate for Tenet, and I'm like, it's no better or worse than any of his other stupid movies. Like, it's just another stupid movie. Like, like I don't understand why people like or dislike this one, but like the other ones. Same thing with Wonder Woman. To me, I don't get it.
If I made you the executive producer of the next biggest blockbuster movie, who's like your top 3 actors?
Brad Pitt.
Love
Done.
Brad. Yeah, Brad rules.
And what is the plot of this movie?
I mean, is it EP? I don't know. Like if you commission me to write one, that's a whole different story. I mean, top 3 favorite.
Okay,
Oof.
yeah, no, you're like creating your own movie from scratch. Original.
Oh, so now I'm just pitching full blown film. Yes.
All right, is that too much?
I don't know. Plot wise, it would be horror is fun, so I'd definitely go that immediately. I'm trying to think of like a good horror movie.
But would it be like a goofy
like
horror?
A campy
or like
horror?
horror?
Those are fun too, like a Halloween or Friday the 13th type slasher. Those are super fun.
See.
Or it could just be like Hereditary, which is just disturbing, to its core.
Just write your autobiography.
I could.
That's big time horror.
Did you see Parasite?
Yeah.
Did you do like a thriller like
yeah,
that?
I like Parasite. I liked it. I didn't. Yeah.
Mark, I loved Parasite.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I didn't understand what they were saying. I was like,
well, it's if you listen closely, it's in a different language.
It requires you to read, Luke.
I didn't turn the subtitles on, and I was like, I don't understand what they're saying, and I was complaining to my friends the whole time.
This now checks out why you didn't like the movie.
I like the first hour of Parasite a lot better than the second hour.
Can we spoil?
Can
we spoil? Well, basically, it's like as soon as
before or after you find out that family's in the basement.
I liked it up until that. It's basically when the main family escapes and runs back, and it's that water flood, in the torrential downpour.
Yes,
they're running back. I guess after that point, it kind of lost me. Also, if you pay attention, they might be trying to make some subtle points about class in the film. You have to look with a really fine eye. But I'm starting to think they're trying to make some sort of statement about class.
You must have read the subtitles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Parasite's not a subtle film, but it is a movie.
I guess I won't see it now.
Oh, I mean, it's worth. The ending is insane.
I really didn't spoil much.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what happens, and enough people have talked about it that I know.
Oh, really? I actually should watch it again.
I mean, everybody was so big on it. I guess it won a bunch of awards.
It cleaned house at the Oscars last year.
Maybe we should talk about basketball.
Yeah. Also, all this started with what are your New Year's resolutions, which no one answered, and now we got deep into
I just got
movie pitches.
Said we talked about Mark.
That's cool. All right, go ahead, guys.
I trashed Mark for being bad at fantasy basketball,
which I then corroborated by how it works.
Okay, I'm also okay. So I'm playing Matt this week.
Luke,
Matt
we're
and
in
Nick,
an absolute
right?
shootout. Did you see the plums today?
I
Plums put
know.
up
There's been
points.
like 5 lead changes.
Yeah.
First off, I want to say great pickup with Keldon Johnson. Like when I looked at the matchup and I saw you had Keldon Johnson in your lineup, I was
Yep.
like,
Stings.
why would he
going.
ever do this? And then I looked at his stats. He's actually playing pretty well this year.
I can't even take credit for that one. I co-manage my team for those listening with another friend of mine, Nick Olives, who honestly we shouldn't even name him on this podcast. He's not worth it.
True.
But that was a him move. But yeah, no, I feel like I've been watching a lot more random NBA games this year than I normally do.
With the League Pass?
Yeah, so now that I have League Pass, because normally I'll stream them online very much legally. Just as Mark watched Tenet. Mm-hmm. But no, I don't know. I feel like this has been such a weird season because I feel like every year there's like 3 or 4 teams that are clearly on the top from just out the gate. But I feel like the teams that are probably going to win the championship haven't been the ones dominating. Like it's just been a weird start to the season. Like the Suns are 5-1, the Sixers are 5-1. It just doesn't really. It just feels.
I mean,
weird. The Knicks are.
But the Sixers have the potential to be good.
What?
The Sixers have the potential to be good. It wasn't like we were like, oh no, the Sixers are bad and they're not going to go anywhere. It was more of like they're a wild card. We don't know if they're going to be good or they're going to be bad or.
I guess, but if you look at the bottom of the East, for example, you have the Raptors at 1-4, the Heat at 2-3, the Bucks at 3-3, the Nets at 3-3. Like all those teams are going to jump up again. It just seems that Cleveland is in third at 4-2. Like it just doesn't seem sustainable. And then you could honestly do the same thing with the West. The Nuggets.
Everybody laughed at me for drafting Colin Sexton.
Like the Nuggets are bad, and Jokic is putting up MVP level numbers.
Yeah, Jokic is playing very well.
And
but
I guess otherwise it's probably normal.
Markelle Fultz is on my fantasy team. He's been playing really well. I want to, everybody calls him a bust. I've always been big on the Markelle Fultz train. Proud to see my guy.
All right. I guess the Magic are 4-2. I didn't really see them keeping it up. My hot take from the start though, and it is kind of controversial, is that the Mavericks are worse this year than they were last year. And even when they get Porzingis back, they will still be worse. I think they're a worse team.
And it's because Luka isn't shooting as well as he needs to.
He's playing fine. Let me actually.
He looks big. Isn't he shooting 9%?
He's not playing
right now or something.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Worse than Barrett.
While we're looking up the Luka Doncic stats, Mike, I want to give you a subtle nod to your team here. Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum is huge.
Oh my God!
I was watching the Celtics game today.
Yeah, the Celtics kind of carried out what they needed.
Also, Jeremy Grant. I wanted to draft Jeremy Grant, and I was like, no, he's not going to be that good. They have so many power forwards. He's been unreal this year. I did not expect him to dribble the ball the way he is.
I overheard something in something I was watching once that said that he's going to be the guy in Detroit. Which what does that mean? So,
he really
he's
is
the only guy that gets the ball in Detroit. It's very bizarre. So that was kind of what I did with drafting this team. Like people who I knew were going to have the ball a lot, like Karis LeVert. Before Dinwiddie got hurt, is the sixth man, but you knew he was going to be the only guy touching the ball with the second unit. So I think it's working for me. I'm pulling away from Arjun now, which needed to happen. Harden's kind of.
You put up 1,600 points.
Is that
this
a
week?
lot?
Holy crap!
Fantasy basketball is the Wild West. Like, what is happening?
If you put up somewhere between like 1,100 to 1,300, that's a pretty normal game.
So I'm having like just an absolute shootout right now.
Yeah, you're like putting up 250 points in fantasy football.
Harden not playing some of the games, which is
John Wall looks sick.
Yeah, true. But when Harden's been playing, Harden's been
he's been a freak of nature. Also, Christian Wood, come on,
Christian Wood's been great.
He might win Most Improved this year. To be honest, if he keeps this up, again, it's only been 6 games or whatever for them, even less because I think they stalled because of COVID. But
I mean, he's averaging 24 and 11 with a steal and a block.
Jerking off my team, or no?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, for real, your team. Besides the fact that your point guard is D'Angelo Russell, you have
also Doncic. I have his stats up, and I meant to say it. He's shooting 16% from 3. Fantastic. He on 6 attempted. He's going 1 for 6 a game. My lord. Wow, this is worse than I thought. Yeah, no, the Mavericks. You guys made fun of me last time we recorded. They're missing the playoffs. I'm telling you, they're in trouble.
It's only because Luka Doncic.
Yeah,
is
and he looks
playing
huge,
bad.
like large.
And that's not even accounting for the.
But
what
like,
I was
if
saying
he just
is that last season he missed a couple stints with injury. If that happens again, he's toast. They're toast.
I mean, if he just picks it back up, if he just like gets into shape and starts playing basketball at the high level we all know he can play it at, I have zero doubts that this team
Also,
will be a playoff
I
team.
take issue with that because, and I'm not even saying this because like I do like Luka and I think he is like very much going to be an MVP in this league, probably a multi-time MVP. But like he did play in the bubble, so it's not like he's that far removed from playing. Like some of these other teams had
he didn't play that well though.
Basketball, they're coming in shape. Look at the Cavs. Like the Cavs look good, and they don't even have Kevin Love, which I know it's the Cavs and it'll go away, but still, like they came ready to play. Like there are so many of these teams who have kind of snapped back that like I don't think Luka should have that same leeway. Like he's supposed to be leading this team right now, and he's not. Like he is. No, I mean he's putting up good numbers. I can't really say that. He's averaging 24.4, 6.4 assists, and 7.6 rebounds, which like that alone is a very
it's not
good
efficient
season if he were to do that for the rest of the year. The thing is, I think everyone expected him.
He's just using the crap out of the ball.
Everyone expected him to take this huge jump and probably win MVP this year, and he's just not doing it. Like the efficiency just isn't really there, and I feel like a lot of that is their roster construction. Like I wouldn't have gotten rid of.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten rid of Seth Curry. Like I think that was a mistake. As good as Josh Richardson is, I think that it's probably not the perfect.
Seth Curry was probably a better.
Seth Curry's good. He's underrated.
Definitely. And like I'm looking at this team, and it pretty much is the same team as last year. Yeah, honestly.
They had some rotational guys in and out. I think that's the big difference.
Yeah, and I mean, I do think there is something to be said about having Tim Hardaway Jr. as your number 2 option. Like he realistically looking at this roster, unless it's Richardson or Powell or Kleba, which I don't think it is, they're gonna have to lean too much on Tim Hardaway Jr. And I guess that's why he makes $74 million or whatever in that contract. But he's not that. Like he shouldn't be your second option by any stretch. So.
I mean, if Porzingis was back, he'd be
the number 2. But that's also giving Porzingis a lot of credit. I thought I saw a report saying that he's still a few weeks out from even coming back, and even then, where is like
practicing?
Like we don't even know that he's going to come back and look good. He's had so many knee surgeries in the past 2.5, 3 years that like this guy could be a mess. Like and I'm trying to like shed my bias here because I can't. Everyone knows that I am not a Porzingis fan, but. The same things that we've said about John Wall coming back, Kevin Durant coming back, all these guys, Oladipo who hasn't looked great, and John Wall and Durant have, so I'm better. I mean, I won't say they haven't.
Yeah.
You don't know how coming back from these major injuries, how they're going to look, but Porzingis is now starting to compile them. So it's not even like he's just coming back from one. You have him coming back from all of these. So I just think the Mavericks as a whole, like I just think there's way too many question marks for a young Luka Doncic to have to try and lead them past. And even though he probably does have it in him, like it's not showing early. And if they don't kind of turn it around soon, it might be a little too late. That's my rant. That's my rant.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has been a week and a half of basketball. So I shouldn't be this into it. But now that I have League Pass and I'm watching them play, I got to say I'm disappointed in them.
I will say there's weird things about League Pass that you wind up learning about what all these different local announcers are like, and like the different cams.
The Cleveland announcers are the worst.
Like a Lakers broadcast, you're on the Carl's cam, so they'll go like, "Let's go to the Carl's Jr. cam," and you're like, "Whoa!" Like,
I will say the Lakers.
How the other half lives.
The Lakers broadcasts are very good. Like those commentators on the Lakers ones, like they're not homers. Like they're great. It's Stu and the other guy who's not Stu, but
No, you want like a mid-sized market, in my opinion. From the like 3 months I had a League Pass for, I found the best announcers were like the Toronto Raptors. Or like, you want an announcer who calls the players by like their nickname or their first name. It's like, oh yeah, me and LeBron. Me and Anthony were just hanging out the other day, and
You're saying
he
want
told
a
me
commentator who
about
knows
his wife and
LeBron's
kids, and
name?
you're like, that's so wholesome.
Like
Yes,
it's
that's
like
exactly
a badge
it.
of honor to be like to know that LeBron guy.
I mean, I want
Sure,
an announcer
yeah.
who's part of the community.
I think we're spoiled with Mike Breen as the Knicks guy. Like Mike Breen calling the Knicks every night is we don't deserve it because they're so bad.
But even if you watch a Nets
different.
game, even if you watch a Nets game, you get Ian Eagle, and like he's honestly not bad. Like he gets national games and stuff like that. You're still spoiled. Whereas when suddenly you turn on like the Suns broadcast, where I could not tell you who the commentators are, and they're just super biased to their team. Like it does make a difference.
But isn't it kind of electric? Like what Luke was saying, like small mid-market team announcer, like commentator. You can hear it. You can feel it through the broadcast that it's the only thing they care about. Like, like they're obsessed and like that.
Like the Toronto Raptors guys.
Yeah,
they're so happy to be there. They're like, oh, it's a beautiful day to be here at the whatever arena they play in, and me and Kyle were hanging out by the pool.
I feel like it's only a matter of time until that's Drake. I feel like
also
he's just going to take over that role.
Luke, I love these examples.
Luke's, whatever. Yeah, Luke's examples.
Something about hanging out with Kyle Lowry's by the pool seems like perfect.
What is the
Kyle Lowry's got
he
a
has an enormous
fat ass, bro.
He has definitely like a top 5 NBA ass for sure.
I saw a funny tweet about
who sent that video.
You know how Trae Young's been drawing those fouls where he kind of gets
infuriating,
and jumps backwards. But they said the tweet was something to the effect of, if this was Kyle Lowry, you'd get hip checked 20 feet backwards.
True.
Like the dude is just an absolute dump truck.
I'm all aboard the Kyle Lowry hate train though. When I came on in like August,
interesting.
I think I wished
you're still on board
him or something. Yeah. He's the dirty player.
Kyle Lowry.
He flops. He's a dirty player. I'm out.
He does flop.
He's got an enormous ass.
Then how do you feel about like Marcus Smart?
I also hate Marcus Smart.
Fair. All right. I guess you're consistent. It checks out.
Yeah.
But
about LeBron kind of flops.
Oh my God. Yeah. Also, LeBron fakes injury. Like if LeBron goes to the floor, he's nursing it as like an injury for a good 3 minutes. And every time he's fine. But he just goes like, or in the 2016 NBA Finals, when LeBron almost had that monster dunk on Draymond after the.
Oh my God! And he was like rolling around.
And he was absolutely fine. Yeah.
Oh, I will say I thought he was hurt.
I thought so too.
When that happened,
because
I was like, oh my
he
God.
sells it extremely well. Like he'll go down, writhe in pain, and then get up and be fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I also think that's like, he is a genetic mutant.
Sure.
Like he is just, I've never seen anyone like this. Like in any professional sport. Like I feel like he just is so uniquely built that he can just withstand some of these weird falls better than other people, or like bumps and stuff. That's why, like, even just him going up to the rim, he absorbs so much contact that he doesn't always get the calls he deserves.
Yeah.
Which I don't even like giving LeBron that excuse, but it's kind of true.
I think LeBron thinks about his longevity too. So if he does get hurt, like he goes down, he's like, I'm dying, and they have to make sure he's
$1 million
okay
per year on that body.
So, but $1 million to him is like $20 to us.
LeBron, I've watched him roll his ankle like just as a Laker, like a ton, like legitimately rolling his ankle, and he'll go down, and then he'll just get up and tie his shoes tighter, and then keep playing and is fine. I don't want to jinx it, but I've watched him roll his ankle a lot and be okay. Versus like if Davis gets touched by anyone, like he's out for 2 weeks. He's done.
Yeah,
he's made of glass.
But that's what happened with the Pelicans too. He used that as an excuse for it when he was trying to get the trade. He was just like, "Oh no, I'm hurt, and I'm not going to play."
Day-to-day Davis.
Yeah. Are you a little nervous about that? Like, what if he does that with the Lakers?
I mean,
obviously
not
this year, but in the future. I know that he still has like 5 years, but
yeah, I mean, I'm concerned just about him getting injured, like the same way it was last year. Where I'm like, if AD gets injured, the whole team, they're done.
But Mark, is it weird being a good team fan?
I don't like it
because well, I'm assuming, and then I'll hear why you don't like being a fan of a good team. But I imagine it's hard to judge a night by night, like the games you're watching, because they only care about like their positioning they know they're going to make the playoffs. So it almost makes your season not seem like game to game, not as important, or you can't really read into one specific day or something.
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
I mean, this season it's less interesting. Like last year was like the novelty of having AD, which made every game cool. Versus this year, like I mean, they're resting LeBron and AD a ton, and they're playing like Frank's playing like everyone on the bench. So like they're just messing around with rotations and like it's not. Yeah.
How do you feel?
I like.
How do you feel about Talon
Horton Tucker? He's good. I mean, he's getting minutes. Mostly garbage time. He does look like a goblin.
I mean,
sure.
He looks like a goblin. He's got really long.
His wingspan is ridiculous.
You got to get him, Giannis, and McCall Bridges on the same team. Just the wingspan starting five. Yeah.
I'm not over Luke's Toronto broadcast of like the broadcasters
pool with Kyle Lowry.
That is just a crazy image.
Of course, bro. You go down to the team training facility.
Not now,
because of hanging out by the pool with Kyle. And Fred came over, and Fred was like, "Hey guys, what's up?" And Fred was telling me about his young.
This is the movie you're talking about. Like, it was just so heartwarming that I would pitch. I want to watch this movie.
Yeah,
Fred Kyle. Yeah, Fred Kyle in the Toronto.
You want to watch this movie?
And whoever called
Fred Kyle in
the pool, in the sauna, in the steam room.
Yeah, they're getting
It's just a spa day with the boys. Like there isn't really a narrative beyond that. It's kind of a hangout film.
It's just like the movie version of these.
It's
15
like the dudes who play basketball and 2 announcers,
though.
Which suck so hard. I do like You're Not My Dad.
I love
the State Farm commercial with Chris Paul.
Like that is legitimately super fun.
Yeah.
Also, the new Jake from State Farm. People have talked about this a lot, but he is absurdly. He's like he'll be in ads with Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, and he's the strongest one. Like he's disproportionately ripped.
Oh, I haven't even noticed that.
Yeah.
Is he jacked?
No. Yeah. He's ripped.
I felt like they picked that Jake from State Farm because they wanted to make the NFL and NBA players feel normal. They were like, "Hey, look, like Jake,
he's enormous.
Jake from State Farm's a big dude too.
Like
relax.
His chest looks ridiculous.
It is pretty ridiculous.
They do.
They went from like that fat white guy in
his biceps, bro.
To this apparently ripped like athlete. It's just a funny transformation, and they don't really acknowledge the fact that like he's supposed to be the same character. Like,
no, they have a handover ad where it's the original Jake and Hot Jake, and they're both in the ad.
Oh.
And it's kind of like a passing of the torch, but also
it is a passing of the torch.
Yeah, that's actually a decent one in the State Farm cinematic universe. But like,
I was wondering, I was wondering how many Jake's State Farm employees. Like, if I changed my name to Jake, would I have a better chance of getting a job at State Farm?
Top 10.
We must find them all.
Yeah, I mean, like, what happens if you actually call to buy insurance?
Also, that ad campaign started like a good 10 to 12. Like, I remember being in middle school and a kid in my class went for Halloween as Jake from State Farm.
Yeah.
Like, and then they brought it back. And they had Oscar from The Office be the State Farm guy. And then they removed him and they pretended like they've just been doing Jake.
Yeah, they did. All right, can we talk about which insurance team is better? Because I mean, there's Flo from
J.K.
Progressive,
Simmons is the Farmers
Jake from State Farm.
The We Are Farmers.
That's what I mean. And you have who's
deep
the guy
voice
who does
guy.
Allstate?
Yeah.
He just has like a really distinct voice. I feel like deep voice guy. Yeah. So if we want to pick an insurance team right now,
athlete Jake from State
which one are we picking
as my guy? I don't know though.
I'll take Jake. I'll take Farmers.
I don't love Flo, so
I don't.
No one does. Well, they're also trying to get a new.
The Progressive is too much for me. They're too like bright and happy.
That man.
Yeah, they're trying to introduce him. I just don't. I don't like.
It is Jamie. Yeah,
I think his name's Jamie.
What's also crazy is
I'll admit that I think Jamie's actually kind of a value.
You like Jamie? I despise Jamie.
I find to make fun of him. Right. Like he's the butt of every joke in those commercials.
I guess. But it's also so like Jamie and Flo, those actors are literally millionaires from these ads now. Like Matt, as you know, residuals on commercials pay a ton.
I do know this. Yep.
Yeah, Matt was in a commercial. Yeah.
So, wait, Matt, you were
Do you not
in
know
a
this?
commercial? Was it as you or as a
Okay,
Yeah.
bird?
cool. We'll just lead in. Matt, tell
I
us.
do know this.
So I was in a commercial so I was,
Were you?
oh God.
Yeah, so
I guess
Wait, you were
it's
dressed
the
up as a
time to do
bird?
this.
Bird talk.
No, for those listening who do not know this, I was my college mascot. I was the Boston College Eagle Baldwin. But so I was in one of those Heisman House commercials. And yeah, I got paid residuals from that. And sure enough, like I wasn't expecting anything from it. I figured that it was gonna be one of those things where it went to the school. Like I thought I was just
You just
going
like
out to
beat
film
Baker
commercials,
Mayfield or
like, an
something?
appearance. And like when I was there, they gave me like a per diem for dinner. And so I was like, oh man, they gave me like money, whatever. I'm like, this is awesome. But then like they flew
That's
me out,
enough
and
for
then
me
I'm
right
in this
there.
hotel with 8 different Heisman winners, like Herschel Walker, Eddie George, all this. And
You're all in the same hotel?
oh yeah, no, like
Sick.
I was like waiting for our transportation and like talking to Doug Flutie.
Oh my god.
So I was like, oh, this
Hell
is
yeah.
enough. But then all of a sudden, like as the college year was going on, because I was at college, and my parents would say like, oh,
Wait.
you got
How
letter in
did
the
this
mail
conversation?
today, like it's from that company. I was like, okay, open it, and it was a check. And then all of a sudden, like every 2 weeks or so, these checks would keep coming in. And I made a hefty sum of money, baby. So that's why, in honor of Nissan, to wrap this all around, my fantasy basketball is the Nissan basketball bus. So in honor of Nissan,
Anything else? Is that on it?
No, just Nissan and basketball.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean,
Wait, did Doug
like,
Flutie talk to you because you were dressed up as the Eagle, or because
he gave me his jersey? He signed his jersey and gave it to me. He was actually super nice.
Wait, did you bring that back to school? Because I never saw that.
I did bring it. I honestly don't remember. I definitely have
like
it now.
junior year.
I have it framed now.
That is legitimately sick.
Yeah, no. So like I did not expect these checks to come in, and then all of a sudden it started happening. To this day, I'm still afraid that BC is going to come knocking and be like, "Give us our money back."
They're gonna. Father Leahy listens to the pod.
Listens to this and is like, "Give me my money." But yeah, so
while he's breaking up like student protests on campus, he's like, "I also need that Nissan money."
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, very much on.
By
brand.
the way, 18
yeah.
grand.
Yeah, commercials pay a ton.
Yeah.
Also, wait, we've sort of talked about this in real life, but why? What compels you to be the mascot? Because it's so much work, and you don't get paid other than if you get cast in a Nissan ad and get paid behind BC's back.
I forget who it was with, but I lost odds. So whatever it was, we did the countdown. I did 3, 2, 1. We got the same number, and then I had to go to tryouts. Like they sent like a general email to the entire student body, and like that.
And this was sophomore year
like,
that you started.
Let's go. Loser has to go try out, and I lost. No,
he
then when
did.
I was doing
he
it, like,
did.
So you didn't even want to be the
kind
Eagle.
of cool,
it just kind of happened.
Like I was technically an athlete, so like I got all the athletic gear and stuff like that, which was cool. And like I got cool. Like I met like a ton of athletes and famous people from it, so it was like kind of fun. Like I met I'm trying to think actor wise, I met Charlie Day.
Yeah, that's
sort
pretty
of.
tight.
I botched that one. I panicked with him. But like I don't know. I met like Matt Ryan, football.
Yeah.
I took a selfie with Chris Paul when I was in the Eagle suit.
Well, that's sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so when you're meeting these guys, are you in the bird costume?
No.
Or
So
like
Chris Paul was the only one
like
where I
one
was
leg
still in the suit, and I like took a selfie with Chris Paul because that one like he was sitting in the stands, and I was like, I have to go do this.
The picture, I'm sure you've seen the picture, the selfie of Chris Paul and Matthew as the bird. It's legitimately the most ridiculous picture I've ever seen. It's Chris Paul, and then there's just a massive beak in the corner of
Send that. We'll tweet it out with this episode.
Okay. Probably not.
Do you think Chris Paul would have taken a selfie with you if you weren't in the bird
I don't
suit?
think he would have wanted just.
But it wasn't watching like a basketball game.
He was at. I think it was like BC against Wake Forest. It was a random. Oh, he went to Wake. Then that's why he was there. Yeah.
He went to Wake Forest.
I emphasize basketball.
So Matthew.
Yeah, that makes sense. He plays basketball.
Yeah.
That tracks. That tracks.
Yep, that all makes sense. Yes.
Matthew, I'm hearing the origin story, the bird origin story here. And you mentioned you just lost a routine game of odds. I guess when I play odds and I lose, maybe I won't do whatever the odds thing was, like, and everyone will forget. You went and
Matt
did
loves
this.
Getting humiliated publicly. Like, this is.
Part of me thinks it was more than a lost bet. It's a calling. And I think
in all
you were
fairness,
hoping
in high
you'd
school,
bet
you
odds,
made
and
me,
it
because you were president of the student council, we needed like someone in the high school mascot suit for something, so I had to do it. But like, again, because I was doing you a favor,
you
not
were
because
the Colt
I really
for a couple
elected
events
to do it. So
you did
so
me
you
a
actually
favor
still owe me
by being the Boston College mascot.
That really helped his campaign.
For
student body president.
Yeah.
I got my brother in the bird suit, or whatever the CBA mascot is.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know.
It was a horse. It was
a boy.
It smelled like garbage.
Yeah.
I think I may have gotten mono from it, to be totally honest. I don't know, because I not long after
from the
I had
suit,
to wear it,
this
I had
dirty
mono, so
equine
I think
suit.
that might
Did you get anything from the bird suit? Because I've also heard stories, not to get too blue on the podcast, but I have heard stories about people like banging in the bird suit. Not both partners.
So
I'm saying one.
I did
one
not
person in
do
the bird
that,
suit.
but people had. It is washed after every session, like
Great.
anytime someone's in it. So I would imagine it's put in the wash after that.
Right.
It still doesn't make me feel safe.
No, worse than that is like
football
games. Like there's basically three segments of it. There's the pregame, the first half, and the second half, where someone else is doing it. So one person gets out of the sweaty suit in the morning, hands it to the second person. Then the third person for the second half has to get into like whatever gross concoction of sweat that is.
Yeah, wait, there's only one suit?
Why not just buy more suits? Why not just have separate suits?
It was some weird thing. It was like a weird rule that you were only supposed to use one per day because cleaning it was super expensive. It was like pretty dumb.
So you had to go into someone's secondhand suit or even third hand. Wow.
At points, it was gross. I really, I'm not proud of this.
Not a glamorous life.
Why don't they just have one person do it the whole day?
Because
then?
Football games are long, and if you account for pregame too, that's like 6 hours of nonstop bird, which is not fun. Even but even the times I did, there were times where it was fun. I got to go on the ice
bird all the time
on the field at where the Patriots play, Foxborough,
Gillette.
But I got to do cool things like that, and it was fun. I played basketball on the Wizards. But but besides that, it wasn't fun, and you're sweaty, and your friends are getting drunk on a Friday night. You want to be getting drunk on a Friday night with your friends, and instead you're stuck as a bird. It's it had its perks.
Taking pictures with little kids. Didn't you make a little kid cry one time?
Are afraid of mascots. No, there was a time they basically stuck us in a closet. We didn't really have a locker room, so I won't even call it that. But it was right next to the visiting team's locker rooms. I would come out, they would come out. But one day, I'm in there in our closet getting dressed, and I knocked on the door, and it's security, and he came up to me and he's like, "All right, look." And I still remember this. We were playing against Quinnipiac's hockey team, and he said, "All right, look, their head coach had a bad incident with a mascot, and is deathly afraid. I'm gonna knock on this door when you're allowed to come in and out." And I'm like, "Oh my god, okay." But apparently this wasn't that happened when you're young and you're scarred of mascots. Apparently it was some mascot gave her a hug and she panicked.
Oh, it was a woman?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it feels more mean spirited, but if I were you, I go to the BC head coach and go, "Coach, I know how we can get an edge in this very important game."
Yeah.
During a crucial moment, call timeout, and then out of the tunnel you come racing, and you like a hawk, you go straight for the opposing head coach.
Yeah.
And then they basically have to take an injury timeout. I'm not totally sure, but you could definitely give an edge for sure that way.
Yeah, I mean we're above that at the institution that is Boston College, but no, it was.
Yeah, that's true.
I scared plenty of people. I scared plenty of people without a bird suit on. So, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Did you ever have anyone try and bully you, drunk people, harassing you being
plenty? I had a lot
assaulted?
of drunk fans try and make me hit the quan. Which, for those of you
Sure.
who don't know me, I am 5'7" and very much not coordinated, or I can't dance. I can't do any. I look goofy.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to hit the quan. So I got yelled at a lot. Yeah, no, that was tough.
Yeah, I don't even know what
I
the
had little
Quan
kids
is.
trying to rip my head off. That stunk.
Hell yeah.
There were times where you'd be like super hungover and you'd feel like, have you ever seen Blades of Glory? You know when he kind of throws up in the whatever that wizard suit is. Like there were times where I thought
There's
I was going
also-
to do
Yes.
that.
In the pilot of Secession, which is the only episode I've seen, but that character does vomit in the like Disney World mascot, and he pukes out of his eyes.
Yeah. See,
Cousin
there were
Greg
times when I thought
pukes
that
out
was
of
going
his
to happen.
eyes.
But it's like
yes.
just people hit you on the head. They don't realize. Like they think that there's all this padding. There's not. It's not great. But what are you going to do? You know, I did it for 2 years. I saved senior year. I had fun. That's about it. I made a ton of money by accident.
Shockingly, yeah.
So it worked out. All right, this ended up not being as embarrassing as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's always good.
I mean, we'll leave that for the public to
true.
decide.
All right.
We haven't heard the inevitable backlash. Yeah.
I just want to say Mike has left our video call.
My laptop
I don't know if he's still
incredibly
on.
unprofessional.
Yeah. Terrible.
But yeah.
All right, good.
My laptop died, and I did not want to. Matthew's on a roll, and hearing the mascot, the mascot tails are incredible.
It was something that was glossed over, even in like Matt would reference like, oh, when everyone else is like getting drunk and he has to be a bird. I like in our off-campus house junior year, I remember like through doors hearing Matt scream, "I have to be a bird tomorrow."
Yeah.
Like
no. It was
which is an iconic.
It was
line.
Unfortunate. Yeah, definitely.
Totally self-inflicted though.
Well, sort of. Like if I had said 5 instead of 4 or whatever it was,
I just want to. I just want to say because you guys.
I mean, it is what it is. Yes.
Matthew,
I just want to.
Can you send in that clip? The clip of you playing basketball at the ACC, the mascot game at the ACC tournament is unbelievable. And you were the MVP of the game.
Really?
Like, well, it was scripted. That was the year BC didn't win in conference in football or basketball.
I remember that year.
So the other mascots thought it would be funny if I went out and like scored a lot and won MVP. So I did have to score still. But
the tape.
What are you gonna do? Yeah, the tape is excellent. I think in that video, but I mean, whatever. It's shockingly hard to shoot. Like you can't do normal form when there's a beak coming at like a giant beak in front of you. So you kind of have to like chuck it over your shoulder.
Sure.
You know, it was my first shot. I missed it, but then I scored 6 points in like 4 minutes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you know,
in a bird suit. That's
good efficiency. Good. You got to put the team on your back. That's something.
I just want to say you guys are missing an absolute killer Wizards game. You're watching
really
Rui Hachimura post up on.
I guess we did really deviate from basketball in this episode, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah,
it's so terrible.
I think that's fine. We can loop back. What do we really want to talk about basketball?
So I was thinking we could talk if we don't even need to do it, but I was thinking we all
save it for next week.
We all pitch a James Harden trade. Because obviously that's like the one major story going on right now. Like I feel like there's nothing other than like, oh yeah, people are playing basketball again. Like I feel like that's the only real like underlying theme of this season is like, is he going to get traded or not? But that was it. That was my only idea.
I have my Harden trade. Are we going to do this in a different?
No, let's pump it out.
Should I leave it on a cliffhanger?
Yeah, pump it out.
All right, what do you got?
No, let's do it right now.
I've come to terms with. I think this would be the best thing for this team. I forget who. I just feel like there's a group of teams, including the one that I'm about to mention, that they're in like a purgatory where they're not in the top 4 and they're still solid, but they're just not going to do anything. And if they don't do anything, and they're hoping for like a jump in a young person that they have, but they don't know if it's there yet. So to me, if I'm one of those middle-class purgatory teams and I have nothing to lose, why don't I just pull a Raptors, like what the Raptors did with Kawhi? And I think the Nuggets should mortgage their future. I think the Nuggets should do the Michael Porter Jr. and 4 first-rounders for Harden and just try to win with the 2-year window with Harden, and then pick up dust the ashes when that 2 years is done, even if you don't get him back. I think even with the knowledge of probably not getting him back in 2 years, trying to win and I think you could win.
Is that enough for the Rockets?
As the
Is that enough for the Rockets? Probably not, right?
I'd rather give
Like,
up Murray.
Rockets,
I don't think so.
I need something that's like overwhelmingly good. Like I would even rather. I feel like I would rather do the Nets 4 draft picks and they're like 3 young guys instead of that. Not to absolutely just take a dump on your trade idea, but no, I mean it seems like they're asking for like
hey, you don't know what the Rockets want,
like an inordinate amount of assets back, like good young players and all picks available.
They're asking for the world.
That's honestly fair though. I mean, like Harden, it should be like the AD haul or the like Paul George haul. Like he's just as good as those guys. Like,
but I think.
Yeah, I mean, Paul George.
But
I think they did that because if they didn't, they wouldn't get Kawhi.
Mark,
that's why it was so big. But anyway, go on.
The difference with the AD haul, like Anthony Davis only wanted to be a Laker, so no other team was really going to touch that. No one was really trying. So the Pelicans were in the driver's seat saying, we're not just giving him up. He wants you guys. You have to get, there was leverage. Like with Harden, there isn't a ton of leverage, to be perfectly honest. Like, I don't think Harden even has that much leverage. Like, what the Rockets just need to avoid waiting too long, because if you only have 1 year with him and you can't let him walk, but you can't trade him with only a year left. You would need to do it in the sweet spot. So,
I mean, if you're the Rockets, you're thinking about this from a business perspective, probably, and you're saying, we're paying James Harden how much, and what media revenue share do we get, and how many jerseys do we sell, and things like that from having James Harden on the team. That's one way to look at it.
I mean,
right? Is it really worth moving on from James Harden?
That was kind of going to be my. I didn't know what trades you guys were going to come in and pitch. So if you had pitched the one that I was thinking, I was going to end up saying my controversial one is you don't trade him, you keep him, because you're under no obligation to send him anywhere. Like you have him under team control for at least another 2 years, including this one, potentially 3 if he ultimately decides to opt in. But I just think that you can construct a team around him that can win. Like I think. We've mentioned him. Christian Wood looks good. You're probably stuck with John Wall now, but maybe after this year you can move him for something that you like more. But he's honestly looked okay so far. And if he keeps that up, like this team might not be that bad. And if you can work it out, like maybe keeping him makes sense. So yeah, Luke, I get that. Like they're totally treating this like you need to put the best product out there. And if they're not going to get a return that matches how good they could be with him, like why would you do it?
Right. I mean, if I was the Rockets and James Harden wanted out, the only way I'd give him up is if I get a franchise-changing player back. And that's like
Yeah.
I want a Ben Simmons in return. I want Ben Simmons. I want like Giannis, right? I want somebody like that. Obviously, Ben Simmons is a much easier target because the Sixers also have Embiid. But like the only way I give up Harden is if I'm getting someone back who has more promise. So, like a lot of people talk about like the Celtics. You can give them Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum or something like that, but it's really like I want Ben Simmons and some role players for
but the
Harden
issue is
and some worse role players.
I guess I'm not looking at it as much from like the Rockets side. I'm looking at it at like you mentioned the Celtics. Like I think they have too much to lose by gutting their team to get James Harden. I think like you have 2 All-Stars already, and a solid foundation. Like I think and Tatum, the upside's insane. So it seems like too much to lose. Like the Nuggets, to me, I feel like if the Nuggets let this roll as it is and like try to make like little changes here and there, they're a smaller market. Like Denver's awesome, but I don't think people want to go there. I think it would just be like, let's have 2 years, like what Toronto did. Like we might not even get him back, but who cares? We can win.
I mean, if I was the Kings, I might be like, hey, I'll give you Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley,
unless you're getting Fox.
Some picks
and even then, like that's
for James Harden.
Enough.
Even still, it's not.
Well, that's
enough.
why I do tend to agree with you. I think if a deal does happen, it's going to be the Ben Simmons one. It's a question of how much they can get in return on top of Simmons. Because if you're the Sixers, I almost think you look at the two of them as equal assets. I think a young Ben Simmons who He did hit a 3-pointer the other day. Versus, like, who could get better because he's what, 24?
corner 3.
So, yeah, so I'm older than Ben Simmons. So
I think he's the same age as me.
My point is, like, I think realistically the long-term return of Ben Simmons could be higher than having Harden for 2 years. But that said, like, you could go win a championship if you had Harden and Embiid on your team. So I think it makes sense. But I think the Rockets, I saw a report that they were asking for like 3 first-round picks on top of Simmons, which is just insane. Like, I don't think that a trade, it can't get done like that.
It's ridiculous. It's different when you like Ben Simmons to me would be more valuable than a draft pick because I know I'm getting a franchise-altering player. Like if I let Ben Simmons really play Ben Simmons basketball,
you're gonna
he would make a massive difference on my team.
Trade done because I don't think both franchises value the players the same way, and I think that's why my trade package that I think needs a little work, but I think it could get done with this team is the Heat. I think that they have enough they can work with to make something happen. I think that just from the top, from players alone, you're going to have to include Hero and Duncan Robinson, which isn't that much, which is why I almost think you're going to need to throw in Precious Achiuwa too, their first rounder from this year, and 2 first-round picks. And I think that could get it done. Like, I mean, I think you sacrifice, maybe if you want an extra pick, you don't throw Achiuwa in there, but I think he shouldn't have slipped to 20 in this year's draft. But I mean, that's just my guess, is that they're going to want players that they can plug in next to John Wall, who they're going to have for a little while, Christian Wood, who they're going to have for a little while, and I'd imagine DeMarcus Cousins probably sticks around a little bit if he stays healthy. Those 2 would be perfect fits next to them, and then you can use these draft picks to kind of plug in here and there, and you kind of have your long-term fix. But again, is that enough to get James Harden done? Probably not. But I just feel like they have enough variability in their current construction of their roster that they can throw things in to get this trade done. And I think Harden next to Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo is pretty intense. Like that team would probably get back to the finals out of the East.
I like Jimmy Butler as a second star on the team because he does everything and doesn't really need the ball to be productive.
He's also cool.
Yeah,
so
super cool. What?
Jimmy Butler is incredibly cool.
Yeah, he is.
His coffee company.
Like he would be my number 1 overall pick for just trying to draft like cool hot guys out of the
Frank
NBA.
Ntilikina.
Jimmy Butler is the not
cool
Frank,
hot guys in the NBA. What are you?
Jimmy Butler is the consensus number 1.
I was going to say Kelly Oubre's got to go number 1.
You're not drafting Kelly Oubre Jr.
It does make him less cool when he's going like 0 for 50 from deep to start the season. He's atrocious.
He's on my fantasy team. He's hit 1 out of 17.
So fun.
Hey, I need you to stop talking about this because since our podcast is so massive and he's probably going to hear what we say,
nice.
We need to inspire him.
Yeah,
so Kelly Oubre, if you're listening,
I'm picturing Luke
keep shooting, man.
Them
okay,
out by the pool.
The shots are
this
going
is what they talk about.
Him and Oubre.
We have a heart-to-heart out by the pool, and then I get on the Warriors commentating stream, and I go, "Yeah, Kelly and I were just hanging out by the pool."
Beautiful.
Well, I mean, I feel like, I feel like that
very solid hour
pretty much covers up the first week and a half in the NBA, among other things, movie culture as well. Unless anyone has anything else, I feel like we could wrap this puppy up.
I'm trying to think of really pressing stuff just interpersonally that's happened. I mean, I'll take the New Year's vid out at some point from the Hoop Troop. Oh, I sure will.
If you want the league pass login, you won't.
If you give me a league pass login, but think about it, it's going to drive.
No, it's not. It's going to. No one is going to want to touch it.
A 1970s woman getting spanked on New Year's. The clock strikes midnight. No. The city of New York.
I don't think the world can handle it. I really don't.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It's a shocking
and I
video.
think it very much needs to be destroyed.
Graphic.
So. All right. Well, thank you to all of our loyal listeners for coming back. This is the Hoop Troop podcast. If you enjoy what you heard, come join us again next time.